boys and girls. How are you today? Mrs. Doherty and I just finished delivering all your packets of schoolwork so you can show your parents all the cool projects you did the last couple of months in school. And today I have a friend with me. It's George again. He would like me to read you a story about himself. I have with me George and his little monkey friend. They're friends. George likes to take care of him because he's smaller. So George and his little monkey friend are going to sit with me today, and they're going to listen to the story about him with you, okay? The story I have today is called Curious George and the Puppies. Here we go. This is George. George was a good little monkey and always very curious. One day George went for a walk with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. When they sat down to rest, they noticed a tiny kitten peeking out from under a bush. The kitten looked frightened. "Perhaps she is lost," said the man with the yellow hat. Together he and George searched the park for the little kitten's owner, but the kitten was all alone. So George and the kitten and the man with the yellow hat drove to the animal shelter. "This kitten is too young to be on her own," the man said. "We should take her to the animal shelter where they can care for her and find her a home." Can you see the tiny kitten? The director of the shelter was glad to see them. "It was good of you to bring the kitten here," she said. "We will be happy to take care of her." The animal shelter is where you take lost kittens and puppies. "Come in," the director said, "but watch where you step. We have a large litter of puppies, and one has gotten out of his cage. We're still looking for him, so please be careful." She closed the door quickly behind them. George gave the kitten to the director. Then he and the man with the yellow hat walked inside. George had never been to an animal shelter before. Animals of all kinds were being cared for here. George saw bunnies, cats, turtles, and guinea pigs. He even saw a snake. See all the animals? But he didn't see any puppies. "George, I need to sign some papers," said the man with the yellow hat. "Please stay here and don't be too curious." Do you remember what curious means? It means you want to know things and you want answers and you try to figure things out and you're always wondering. So we hope George doesn't get into trouble being curious. Do you think he's going to stay still? Just as the man with the yellow hat left the room, George heard barking. Maybe it was the puppies. But where was it coming from? George was curious. He followed the barking noises. And found a room full of dogs. There were yellow dogs, spotted dogs, sleek dogs, and fluffy dogs. There were quiet dogs and yappy dogs, and even a dog without a tail. But where were the puppies? Then George saw a little wagging tail, then another, and another. Here they are. He sees the puppies. You see them? They're in a cage. Once George saw the puppies, he could not take his eyes off of them. He had to pet one. Here was a puppy. The puppy liked George. George wanted to hold the puppy. Slowly he opened the door. See him opening the door here? Uh-oh, that's being too curious, isn't it? But before George could even reach the puppy, the mother dog pushed the door open and was off like a shot. George tried to close the door after her, but the puppies were too fast. There was nothing George could do. Look at how they all ran out of their cage. Puppies were everywhere. Puppies hid under the desk, puppies barked at bunnies, one puppy played with the telephone cord, and another climbed on top of a cage to watch the others get into mischief. Soon, all the dogs were barking, the cats were meowing, and the bunnies rustled into the corner of their cage. Oh my goodness, look at what happened. Poor George. Oh no! Cried the director as she and the man with the yellow hat rushed into the room. Now all the puppies are out! The man with the yellow hat helped the director gather up the puppies and put them safely back in their cage. Soon, all the animals settled down and were quiet. Except for one, who was still barking. It was the mother dog. What was she barking at? There was nothing here but the door. She's barking at the door. There must be something on the other side, thought George. He opened the door. It was the missing puppy. Everyone was happy to finally find the puppy. The director scooped him up and said, George, you certainly caused a ruckus. But if you hadn't let the puppies out, we might still be searching for this little one. Look it, he was stuck in the closet. But the mother sniffed him out, and now everybody's happy. Then she gave the puppies and their mother a snack. These puppies are now big enough to go live with families who will take care of them, she said. Do you want to take one with you, George? What do you think George is going to do? Would you like a little puppy? George did. George loved puppies, didn't he? He's here to say, yes, he did enjoy that story, and he enjoys puppies. What do you think George wanted to do most of all when he was curious? He wanted to pet those puppies, didn't he? Do you think if that happened to you, your parents would be angry with you? Do you think he should have asked first before he opened that cage? Or he should have asked the director? He should have asked first. We should all ask before we do things if we're not sure, especially if there's a lot of puppies in a cage. Well, we'll see you tomorrow with another story. I hope you enjoyed Curious George. Bye now.